Okay, so for today's video we're going to be talking to you about preparing our bacon and ham to go into our smokehouse. So what you're seeing here is some of the product that we've wrapped up that is not going to be smoked, and then you're also seeing the meat in its raw form just back from the butcher. Now on our homestead here in Hampton, New Brunswick, Canada, we normally process all our own pigs and in most of our animals, but in this particular case we had a butcher cut them down into prime cuts and then we dealt with them. So this is the book that we use as a basis for our smoking, and this is the recipe that we use for our smoking, and essentially this goes on as a dry rub. So what you see Jill doing here is preparing bags to put our meat in after it's had this dry rub applied to it. Now I call it a dry rub because the ingredients are dry, being brown sugar and salt and pink salt, but we also add maple syrup, so that makes it wet, like the consistency you're seeing here. So essentially for our pork loins, which is what I'm doing here now, and the previous bacon, which you've already seen, we use the same rub, and we just weigh each piece out and use the recipe that's there and do the math to figure out the total amount we need. And to be honest, we usually back the salt off a little bit. Now there's our dog Frankie making an appearance, watching closely in case something drops on the floor. When we use that charcuterie book, we find that most of the recipes are saltier than what we would like to have. So we basically rub the entire surface over. This is important that you notice that we roll the bags down, because when it goes into the vacuum sealer here, you want to keep the part that's going to seal as clean as possible. So by rolling that down the side of the bag, we're able to keep it clean and not get the brown sugar mixture all over it. So here what you're seeing is the vacuum sealer in process, and then what we basically do is open the machine up, pull it out a small amount as you're seeing there, and then close it back and seal it again, and that just basically gives us a double seal. So here are all our bacons and loins that are totally prepped, and they're now going to the refrigerator for 10 days. During that 10 days we will actually flip them over at least once a day, maybe twice a day, because basically what happens now is that the salt that's in that mixture that's been rubbed onto them will start to pull the moisture out of the bacons and the loins, and it will essentially form a brine inside of those bags. So by flipping them over once or twice a day for 10 days, we continue to expose different meat to that brine, and also help to pull out more of the moisture out of the meat from different portions of the meat. Once the 10 days are up, then it's off to the smokehouse, and look for future videos to see what that looks like. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.